So today we're going to be looking at DMs. We've got a lot to go through. We've got a few of the old ones to see are they worth in any of the Evos that we've got and who else is going to be in that top spot. Now, let's jump straight into it because we've got a lot of the standard ones that have been out a while now. We look at the likes of Essien's base. We've obviously got Amrabat, we've got Bruno G, but then we go all the way up to a Patrick, a Yaya, a Tchouaméni. Now, obviously, Patrick is going to be one of the better DMs that you can find. And in general, if you was to kind of look through a certain price point of these, if we go into the DM slot of here, so if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. We can go to the top rated and also top price. We're looking at Patrick as number 1 at 4.2. We've obviously got Huller as an SBC. He's a harder one. I'm going to put him into the cam list tomorrow because obviously he's just everywhere. I could put him in the centre mid, the DM, the cam. I could probably put him in the strike if I really wanted to as well. He's just incredible in every position. But then we've got the likes of Matuidi. We then have a Team of the Year Rodri that is due an upgrade, more than likely at some point. What I can see them doing with him is getting him a Team of the Season flashback or a moments during the Prem Team of the Season. Probably make him a 97 with different playstyle pluses. That's just a mile off because obviously he can't be in the Team of the Season regardless of him being in the Team of the Year, but they will include him in some way. It's more than likely a flashback. We obviously have then Ramirez, we have Yaya, we have a Kimmich SBC, Tchouaméni, Xavi's kind of more centre mid. A few of these will have already been done in a previous tier list if you want to check a centre mid one out. Obviously when we do look at someone like Matthias, Xavi, you look at Zier, Emery, they are going to be centre mid, so they won't be in this list. They will be in the brand new midfielder list in probably a week or two. I can imagine they're going to come out very, very soon to include everybody together. Now, just straight back into it then. Essien, bog standard, I'd get rid of him. I don't think the base version, same with Makalele, you're not going to evo them. Realistically, we are now at 89s and 90s. You've got to be realistic. If you're looking at Amrabat, can he play? No, of course he can't. Do we look at a cast now? Maybe you have evoed him because the chances of him getting anything else could be a shout. Like you kind of really hoping, like if we look at Casemiro in general, you've always got to do the maths of, is this card, especially, this is more like a Man U fan talking more so than anybody, because realistically, I'll go and just do Huller instead, or I'll go and get a Ramirez, I'll go do Lam, I'll do somebody else. So when I look at him now, obviously you've got a couple of upgrades, you've got a 90 if you really wanted to. When you look at the Man U team in general, you kind of see the patterns of who's getting upgraded. Obviously you've got the Rashford that's now gone, so he's out of the list. Diallo got himself into the fantasy. Bruno's got a grassroots. We've got Garnacho, Toon and Maguire with foot birthdays. Very nice. Obviously Yoro. Or these future stars actually? I think there might have been future stars. So I think fantasy was different. But then you kind of got the likes of Mason Mount, who's only just come back playing. They had to figure out a way to give him a card. And Cass was horrendous at the start of this season. And to be honest, he's not necessarily winning any player of the months, is he? So it's going to be very difficult for him to get a card. He's not going to be in team of the season. Like Rodri, the best chance they give him is an SBC. But then you've got to think, are they going to give two DMs probably 94, 95 and 97 SBCs in that same week span? Probably not. So this could be one of the final cards until footage. So if you are a Man U fan, maybe you evo him. But realistically, we're just going to put him in the bin. Puyol is going to go the same as well. I quite like Gilmore if you're looking for a bit more of a Serie A. I think he's quite decent to go in there. Same with Guendouzi. Both very good DMs with great base stats. So hopefully an upgrade would be really nice. We said the same with João Gomez. Conte at this point I would drop off because we have got a grassroots. Much better in my opinion. Bruno G. Could you still use Bruno G? He was obviously a free card from level 30. Could you get away with him? You got press proven. I kind of like it this year. It kind of works a little bit, but it's not necessarily my golden playstyle plus, really. You got the long ball pass. Stats-wise are pretty good. I mean, like, he's going to get an Evo at some point soon. I don't see the massive problem. Like, we look at him with 92, 90, 94. Roles-wise, box-to-box playmaker. Would be nice with a deep line playmaker, but I mean, for the moment, you could go box-to-box and change the positions later on. I mean, you could possibly get away with him still. I think usable would be the most I'd go, but he's definitely going into this Evo once the 90s really kind of kick off. Latvia would be the same. I think being in a major Prem team, as well a decent nation, you don't really see it too often. With Belgium, could be interesting to see. Mascherano, get rid. Matuidi. Now, we have got a couple of versions of him. Obviously, we've got this one and now the 94. I've kind of been half and half with him, to be honest. I think his base was a little bit underwhelming. In my opinion, I just don't think it was an incredible base card. It was okay at best. We obviously then got a nice upgrade. I think it did him well. He got the pinged pass, which he already had. Obviously, went into the 4-star, which was nice. But then we have got this version that is much better. The double playstyle plus suits him. I mean, you could obviously again go for a couple of the upgrades, but realistically there might have been others that you might have wanted to go for instead. Like if we look at him with, obviously you've got the double playstyle plus ones and the normal playstyles. You've obviously got the bruiser plus, block plus, intercept could be in a nice one. You could have put him in a 90 with the anchor. That wouldn't have been a bad shout. And then from there, I think it's just they're just cosmetics. I mean, you could have got him to a 90, which would be nice. This card for me is the one. 2.6, but it's a stunning upgrade for him. The 5-star, 4-star, pinged pass and intercept, which are two of my favourites. The 99 defending, which is fantastic. It just opens so much more for him if you wanted to go for the engine. Obviously, the anchor people are going to play for the pace and also physicality. But, I mean, that's such a waste. I would definitely be looking more into the engine if I'm being brutal with him. But that's a stunner of a card, let's be real. So, I would possibly go with something like that. I think that would play off quite well. Orbadorf's, what is it? That was a Centurion? No, it was Trackstar. That's probably in the bin now. Patry, I'd say I'd hold out for an Evo. She more than likely gets into a team of the season. Whether La Liga's going to be 2nd, 3rd or 4th, I don't know. But more than likely we are going to see the same theme. So you're going to have Prem and Prem Women. You're going to have La Liga and Liga F together. So obviously they will come at that time as well. Petit, I'd probably bin off. Sissoko, I mean, as a nostalgic value at Evo, but realistically, you're kind of going off now. If you would have got him like to an 88 or 87 to start with straight away, so he would have been easier to Evo. If you've not bothered with him and he's still 85, I'd probably bin him off now. Tonali is kind of in that usable category, but I would say give him one of the Evos that he's had recently and he is going to be a gem. Same as Tchouameni. Pretty much most of the 88s now are eligible for the upgrades. Same as Zambo. Literally, the day he came out, there was an Evo that got him to like a 90 instantly and was a much better card for it. So I think that is definitely where you'd kind of go with there. João Neves, I'd put into there. Pavlovic, he was a solid future star as well. I wonder what his price is now coming in at, actually, because he was one of them ones that you just saw and you was debating whether he is worth the price or not because he was very good. 170, I mean, that sounds about right. He can go for the birthday finale. Probably not the greatest Evo just yet, but it's a solid card. I mean, he was great for the obvious future star. The one problem I had with him was his composure. 83, which can be upgraded naturally. So I think right now I'd probably demote him down into here. Declan Rice was one of the better double play star pluses we saw in a long time. He's definitely in due of an upgrade at some point soon. I still think he's a very, very good card for what he has, but you will need another one at some point soon. We do then have Yaya, obviously with the 93. We do have the 90 still, so I do think it's quite an easy comparison for these two. Obviously, we look at the 90 and then the top end of the 93, which is an SBC still. You've got until the 14th of April to get that grinded out. Now, obviously, with him, you've got Pink Pass Bruiser on this version, and you've got Power Shot and Bruiser for the previous version. Now, I do like the 90. I think it's still got some good use. More than likely gets an Evo a little bit into the max 90s. I can imagine during the start of Team of the Season, like properly, you would see a nice Evo for him. So whether you'd want to complete this SBC, personally for me right now, I wouldn't. Just because we've got Hullet in there, I would say Hullet would take precedent in my opinion. And if you are starting from scratch now, only having, 11 days to grind them out, it's possible if you've got fodder already in, but you don't want to necessarily get caught in the trap of got 2 free to maybe 5 SBCs and there's only a day left. You're going to end up spending way over odds in my opinion. But I do think when we do look at these two, he is going to go into the top of category. I just think when you look at Hullet, when you look at other SBCs like CR7's a big one at the moment, they are going to be better in my opinion. We obviously have got the Foot Birthday Essien. He's obviously going to go into the very usable. Patrick's base 90 I still quite like. I mean, he is definitely going down quicker and quicker, but again, like the Yaya, will be due an upgrade at some point soon. Xabi Alonso just never gets it right in my opinion. He was obviously an SBC. He was in an objective for a loan a while back, so you got to give him a go to see how well he did, and I thought he was okay, but he really didn't make too much noise in my opinion. Palacios, you could get away with, but I think he's going to be due an upgrade very, very soon. Kamenvinga, now a great card. He is going to get another upgrade at some point. Another fantastic card that needs a double playstyle plus. I don't know with La Liga who's going to get the team of the season, whether there is a lot of Real Madrid in there or a lot of Barcelona. Who's going to take the midfield precedent on that? I don't know. So we will see a lot coming through. But Kamenvinga will get another upgrade at some point soon. Carlos Alberto definitely dropping down a little bit. I think his centre-back is taking a bit more notice now, but he is kind of dropping into that kind of more usable zone. Same as De Jong, to be honest. We had him last time in the top meta. Again, another card that is due an upgrade at some point soon. Unfortunately, it just isn't yet. He's obviously got the slide tackle bruiser, which is hard to go against, seeing as though the centre mid, the tiki-taka incisive, is such a good card. Like you can see, a big price difference is going to happen now. When we look at the likes of Kimmich then, because he's another one that is very interesting to see. You've got 2 different versions from him. You obviously got the 92 versus the Dream Chaser 94. You've got 1.7 mil from Team of the Year. That was kind of the era of KDB as well. And then you've got 594 for the right back CDM version. You've got Incisive Anticipate versus the Long Ball Pass and the Anticipate. Now, if you waited like I personally did, not that I was trying to wait, I just did KDB first. I personally think this is the better card, just overall as well. The price is obviously going to be better. Naturally, you've had this card for months now, so it's not as if you've not got your use from him if you was going to put him in. But I think with the fact that he was Bundesliga, he was obviously German, it made it a lot harder if you're not running that team already, and I personally wasn't. So already throwing in a Prem Belgium when I've got Liga Fs, I've got did I have Champ? No, I didn't have Championship yet, but I've got like CR7 now in, Ruben Diaz, you've obviously got, I had Sakina, I had Karchawi in there. Throwing another league and nation in was just not possible. So now this card definitely is taking a lot more of the kind of top end in my opinion. I still think the 92 was a fantastic option though. For when Team of the Year was, you remember how good this card is. To be in this conversation still of being up there, I think is fantastic. When you look at Rodri then, obviously the Team of the Year, I think there's no question that that's going to be in the top. When we look at that was Centurions. The 92 is nice. He had a massive pace increase from obviously his base. I do think it's kind of a bit bog standard now. You could get a bit of use out of it, but I was always half and half with him. I think the general consensus would be very usable. If I was to be really blunt with him, I personally didn't get on with Rodri that much. I love the Team of the Year. I think the triple play style plus works for him, but I didn't really like the Centurion, so I'd probably drop him down to more of a usable category, in my opinion anyway. Then obviously we can blast for a few more. Ruben Neves, I'd probably miss. As good as he is of an upgrade, it's not really there. Same there. And Coman's another one. Like people, I don't like him as a centre back. I just think he's a little bit bog standard. But when we look at the CDM, the Bruiser Plus, obviously throwing him in there with some solid stats, I don't mind it. I mean, he could have a better card. I think he's due an upgrade at some point very soon. Otherwise, he'll get an Evo at some point. But he definitely could have more of use in that role. Obviously, then we have got Gray. I really like this card, I think, for the base upgrade that he got. Obviously, the dribbling side of stuff is fantastic. 18s across the board. It's a massive upgrade. And I'd say he's definitely in a usable sort of end, in my opinion anyway. Then we've kind of got a few more. We've obviously got Tchouaméni, I really like as a DM. I think Ramirez would definitely be there as well. Conte, like we alluded to prior, the grassroots is going to be slightly better. Was an SBC for 650. Press, prove, and anticipate. I think it's a solid card. Now, I don't quite quote that it's top of the line, but it's most definitely in the very usable. Just like Lahm, just like Makalele. Some of the lovely... They weren't for birthdays. Were they the fantasy icons, I'm pretty sure. No, Dream Chaser icons. I get them all mixed up. There's so many different cards now. I'm like, just pick one. Just get an icon and just put a little tint on it. Everything's pink and blue at this point. But in general, Lahm is a solid SBC. Makalele has always been fantastic in that role. And I do think when we look at the likes of Petit and also Lahm, they do revolve into a nice zone with this. Obviously, Petit has always been slightly better in Lahm's, in kind of like the CDM role, just purely on the fact that he is taller, so he just tends to have a bit more of a physical presence. But for me personally, I think the Playstyle Pluses have kind of ruined him a little bit. They're both kind of on that same sort of vibe. Obviously, Petit's got the 5'5", but relentless and technical is just not the one. There's no position for that. Whereas Lahm, I mean, he's got the anticipate long ball. I mean, that's fantastic. He's got the 5-star weak foot anyway. It works in the grand scheme of things. We then have Oberdorf's 91. Another card that you could possibly go with an Evo. I think it's a usable card. For how cheap she is, it's definitely not the worst you could go with, in my opinion. So I'd kind of be looking more towards a usable standpoint. Trent would be about the same. I mean, you might be able to get a bit more use out of him than what I personally would. But I just don't think he's not my first option when I think CDM in my main team anyway. Which then leaves us with two more fantasies. We obviously have Walsh coming in at 170 and we have 260 for Caicedo. Now, obviously the jockey pinged pass versus the intercept press proven. I really like Caicedo in this game. I think for the rating that he is, if he can get the full upgrade, he's most definitely going to be one that really works it down. I'm pretty sure he's still got a game. Has he got a game to go? No, he's not finished it yet. Or has he finished it yet? Yeah, he has finished. So it's just now a domestic league, which I don't know, a domestic cup, which I don't think they can. Are they in the FA Cup still? They might be, but if they can win a domestic cup, fantastic. Can they win the league? Probably not. So more than likely that will drop down very, very quickly. Now that is going to be all the CDMs for today. Let me know down below how you're getting on with them. Who is your midfielders? Leave it in the comments, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace, Immortals. Best be good.